Okay, everybody, so welcome back. This is Ian from A Tiny Book About and mindfulmarketplace.com. I wanted to share a new book that's just published on Amazon over the weekend. It's the 11th today, Mother's Day. This was published yesterday. And essentially, I want to give you the strategy that you can use that is at least very specific to this very short book. The book is called A Very Short Book That Will Make You Money, and it certainly will. And this is the exact process that I use in my own brand and business, and that as a community, we've published over 50 digital products over the last few years, tiny books, tiny courses, and tiny products on, across everything from Gumroad, which you can see, I'll post a link to that below, to our tiny.pathright.com community, our Substacks, a tiny book about. We're now using MetaLabel and some other publishing platforms. But this is a really simple strategy that you can follow here. I have examples. This is a PDF of the book that I just showed you here. That's not what I want to do, right there. And here is the workflow specific to this particular process that I cover in this particular tiny book. So we're going to go to answerthepublic.com. I pay for this, but you can actually use this for free as well. It just limits the amount of searches you can do in a day. And you want to just plug in a 1 or 2 word keyword that you are focused on in your brand and your business. Let's say you're a chiropractor, or you're a mental health professional, a therapist. Let's say you're in self-publishing or writing about, newsletter publishing or something like that. I have examples with images from Answer the Public in the book that you can actually see. But you're just going to plug in, like, let's say, back pain if you're a chiropractor, or how to publish a newsletter, or Substack strategies, or teeth whitening if you're a cosmetic dental professional. And you're simply going to take the questions that you can answer with the least amount of prep time. Things that you have the most extemporaneous knowledge about is best, right? So you don't want to have to actually do a lot of research. This is not about doing, anything with AI or any silly, specious sort of goofy, gimmicky strategy like that. This is about actually sharing your own insight, expertise, and experience in a niche market, vertical industry, or area of expertise that you're trying to cultivate a community and attract an audience, right? The next step is you're going to answer the questions. Pick the ones that you have the easiest sort of extemporaneous ability to answer, and then you're going to answer them, right? So if I generate 50 keywords, and I think I have examples here, right, and here, you don't take all of them. You're not writing a book that's actually covering 134 questions, as we just looked at below. You're taking the 20 or 30 that are most immediately obvious, that you are an expert or have insight that is unique in that specific domain, right? Then you just publish your book. In this particular case, for this book, I use Vellum. Vellum is great, but it's actually kind of expensive. So, this PDF, which you're looking at here, is created using Vellum, but you can use Reedsy, which is free, and it's also awesome, and it generates the EPUB file that you need to upload to Amazon. Generally what I'll do is publish these sorts of books and products on Gumroad and, Podia, Lemon Squeezy, WooCommerce, all those sorts of, digital storefront software platforms, and I'll publish the PDF. But for Amazon, you can't publish a PDF unless you're going to do the print book, which is also a good idea, but you need the EPUB file. So the EPUB file is generated automatically by Vellum, which is great. But if Vellum is too expensive, it's a few $100, I think, maybe $2.99 or something for the package that I have. You can use Reedsy, which is free. Maybe it's a little less. Maybe it was $1.99. I don't remember. Nonetheless, and this is the part, if you're writing tiny books in particular rather than courses, you want to have an end experience to offer the very small subset of readers who will want to work with you in a more immersive environment, like a course, a cohort, a community, a coaching style event, some sort of container in which you can work more closely with a small group of people who want to actually hire you to learn the thing that you're kind of covering in the book. In our case, we want to work with authors who want to write tiny books, right? So all these books ostensibly are designed to sell a service, which is working with me and our team to create tiny books that make a big impact in your life, in your brand, in your bank account, and ultimately in the world as well. All right, and the other little pieces of this are, things that should be pretty obvious to everybody. You want to prominently position the thing that you're offering, which I call the transformational turnstile, but it's really the experience, like the thing that you're asking people to do at the end of the book. You want to obviously have some sort of prominent positioning for the CTA, the call to action, at both the end and the beginning of the book. And then you simply want to rinse, repeat, tweak, critique, iterate, and optimize the process until you've built your own tiny empire, or your own legitimate empire of tiny books, products, courses, and offers for your ideal audience or your quintessential client community. If you are a local service professional, for example, this is a fantastic way of standing out in the sea of sameness where most of your competitors will swim. If you're a realtor in whatever town, USA, or wherever in the world you are, and you've published 10 Q&A books helping your audience succeed, and you have those on Amazon or your own brand, right, or both, which is preferable, what do you think you're going to look like relative to the dude down the street who's done none of that, right? Who's just got a TikTok channel or whatever. Like, you're going to look like a more serious person and professional in the world, right? And I don't want to go too far afield, as I kind of tend to do, because the point of these is being very writing very short books, tiny products that don't actually deviate too much from the core message that you're trying to convey. So I'm not going to cover all the other things that are in this book or in our process. This is sufficient to start making money right away. This is a answer the public example image. I think this is on Substack. This is about Substack is what I meant to say there. So these are 134 questions about publishing on Substack, which is something that I'm writing about next, right? How to build a Substack newsletter and it targets a very specific niche. I'm not doing this for a general audience. It's a very niche audience that I'm not going to share here because this is a public video. But the same thing with this here. I don't remember, I can't see in the PDF at this resolution what this image says, but it's 66 questions. I think this is actually on self-publishing, right? So these are questions that people were asking about publishing a tiny book or creating their first product, and this is the image that Answer the Public gives you when you type in those search phrases to see what people are asking, right? It's a very useful tool, and I highly recommend it. Again, I pay for it, but it's free. I think still to use on a daily basis. They just limit the amount of searches that you can do, and I think they also limit the amount of data that you can actually extract on the free plan, but it's certainly well worth it. You can build your entire business around, Answer the Public and Q&A style content, books, products, courses, coaching offers, etc. Okie doke. Teach what you know, do what you love. Wake up the world with your work. If you want the entire very short book that will make you money, it is here. It's 99 cents, I believe it is. And I think, it's short but very specific and will lay out in a series of simple steps what you can do right now to start selling products online that actually are fun and will change your life. Teach what you know, do what you love, wake up the world with your work. I appreciate you listening. As always, if you have questions, feel free to ask. Thanks.